anyway, the gown collection seems like it's about gowns. And as I'm telling everyone, it's not really about gowns. The gowns are the backdrop to our career, to the history. It represents what was going on in America, what was going on in the world.
They're a reflection of the times.
Yeah, they are. In fact, that is the actual name, legal name of the gown exhibit. But what we do is when each venue takes the exhibit, they are free to name it for however they want to name it. You know, but the name of the collection is Reflections. You know, so. But anyway, it's about the social history of America. You know, you can see a gown and it'll take you back to when we were still drinking out of public colored water fountains. You know, it takes you back to a time when, you know, we couldn't stay in certain restaurants.
Could stay in certain hotels. Miami Beach was one of the worst.
So, you know, it represents the times here in America. You know, the times on television. We were on Ed Sullivan's show more than any other artist, except a puppet. I always say that Topo Gigio.
Oh, Topo Gigio.
See, everyone remembers that name.
Yeah, but everybody knows the Supreme songs.
Yeah, but it was really great because, you know, the gowns represent that when there were not a lot of black people on TV. And we were one of those that were sort of like not the first faces that you saw on TV. You know, certainly you had the Sammy Davis Jr.'s, the Ethel Waters, Diane Carroll, Bill Cosby. You have people like that, but not a lot. And so when We the Supremes came along, the Civil Rights Bill was passed in '65, and we became citizens and divas at the same time.
That's a pretty cool combination.
I know, right? So that's what the gowns will bring to mind when you're there. And I tell
It takes you back.
Yeah. I tell guys, don't worry that it's about gowns. There's something in this gown that you'll remember who you married or who you were dating or what school you went to. It'll be like that time frame. So the gowns represent the times.
That makes perfect sense. When you were performing in those gowns and you were on stage, did it occur to you in the back of your mind that you were quickly becoming not only a fashion icon, a style icon, but that you were also an instrument for social change, just for the simple fact that you were singing?
Well, let me explain that in a different way. Because we grew up in an environment that was racial, you know, and we couldn't do anything, and our parents were always reminding us, you know, you're black, so you can't do this, you can't do that, da-da-da-da-da. We were always conscious of that. Now, when we became famous, and, you know, of course, we're dressing up, dressing up in our mom's clothes, we knew that we were glamorous. We knew we were a different breed from some of the other groups, you know, the rock and roll groups. We definitely were. The glamour was totally us being what we wanted to be. We wanted to be, you know, grown up and glamorous.
You were.
Yeah.
You still are.
Yeah, right. Thanks. But that was our dream. It didn't have anything to do at that time with us wanting to show the world this and da-da-da. You know, that wasn't, we were still naive. You know, we just wanted to be pretty and we just wanted to sing. And then, of course, once we realized that we were we have become these stars, is when we knew that it was something bigger than we were. You know, and that we did represent, we represented black women who were achievers, who were gorgeous. And that took on a whole new meaning. But it wasn't like we just found out we were doing all this stuff. It's just we realized that we had dared to dream, we made our dreams come true, and now, wow, you know, this is serious. You know?
How did you balance that?
Oh, I was having fun.
I was going to ask you, how did you
was having-
balance that with the everyday life? Because
Yeah.
once you become a star, you realize that what you do has social and political ramifications, but you're still a person.
It just so happened I can only really speak for myself. When I met Florence and Diane and the first girl Betty, I knew that I had met the other parts of myself and that I was totally happy. Totally, totally, totally happy. It's like, wow, when you talk about a dream coming true and it's something I love, that's pretty powerful.
It is.
And so everything that went along with it, I loved. Florence was the kind of person that was more, she wasn't about this glamour and all those kind of things. So some of the things didn't fit well with her. You know, some things you have to do. Sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do for the sake of the group or whatever. But I think Diane and I both loved being glamour girls. We both want to be Lena Horne or Dorothy Dandridge, all these people. Like I said, I can't speak for Diane, but I mean I know that we both loved the glamour. So we kind of it fit well with me. So it's an individual thing. Sometimes people cannot handle becoming a star, But just for me, it was I loved it. I still love it. It's tiring and it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
And I tell people that, if you're not born rich, you got to work. So you might as well find the kind of work that makes you happy, because you got to work hard, long hours.
No, it's hard.
And everyone grabbing at you, and you want to do everything you can, but sometimes you can't. And this is something I learned. You can't do everything. You can't be right on time for everybody, but although you want to, but you got to focus. And
it's like that ridiculous myth that a woman can have it all. You can, but you can't have it all at the same time.
Not at the same time, and some things you don't have to have. I learned that. You know what I mean? Sometimes, and that's a lifelong lesson I learned. But it's true. You can't do everything, but you do the best you can. And this is what my mom always said: you do the best you can, be the best person that you can be, and that's all you can do.
No, that's perfect advice. It really is. I've got a couple of quick fashion questions for you, if you don't mind.
And I've got.
I know. I understand. I understand that Bob Mackie, when he was starting out, did your gowns.
No, not gowns. One.
Oh, wow. Did it seem a little different when you, because he's got such an original eye.
No, but see, you know what happened with Bob? He was not the man. He was the second guy. Michael Travis designed all of our gowns. Bob was working
under
the same. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to demean, not saying under, but he was working, but he wasn't the top dog at that time. So he did one, but Michael Travis did the majority of those earlier gowns because they were both at NBC, and so NBC had their own designers.
Oh, wow.
So that's when we got into having designers do our gowns.
Oh, very, very cool. That's a lot of fun. My other question to you is, you look at what you wore in the 60s, and it's very chic and very sharp, and that sensibility went away for a while. But now if you look at the runways, what you wore is hot fashion. How does it feel to you to see that coming back?
The bad thing about that is no one gives us credit for being the first. I mean, we also did the Sassoon haircuts. We had the long eyelashes. I mean, we started a lot of, don't want to say started, but we were at a time.
You brought the trend to all of America. You were the trendsetters.
And to see it come back now on the runways. In fact, there's one dress I saw, I forgot who the designer was, and I'm like, oh my God, that's a dress just like Diane and I made before we even had money, because we couldn't afford whatever. And we bought, it wasn't Butterwick, it was one of the patterns, and we made.
There was
these
Butterwick,
gowns.
Simplicity, and Vogue.
So maybe it was Butterwick. And we made the gowns, and you can see pictures of them on YouTube. It's like amazing, and they're back now. The balloon kind of dresses. That's what we made in 1960.
So, once again, you're on the fashion forefront.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we are, because every time I see like you say, the runways and things, there it is, and it's wonderful. I'm glad to see that women are dressing again. It's a good thing.
If you had one piece of advice that you could give to someone, what would it be?
About
life?
Well, the only person you really need to make happy is yourself. Everything is right inside. And you gotta do. I don't mean to be selfish about that. What I'm saying is that you can't search for love and everything outside of you. You gotta love yourself first. If you don't love yourself first, you can't love anybody else, and you can't receive love.
Thank you.
Mhm.